Florida is known for sunshine, beaches, and a reputation for being one of the most relaxed states in the country. But what most people don't realize is that beneath that laid-back image is a dense web of laws that can surprise even lifelong residents. Some of these laws are rarely enforced. Some are enforced quietly, and others depend entirely on where you are standing at that exact moment. In 2026, Florida still has a long list of rules that exist in the background of everyday life, and many people break them without even knowing it. Today, we're uncovering hidden Florida laws you probably didn't know existed, and why they still matter. Most people assume that if something is legal in one part of Florida, it's legal everywhere else in the state. That's not how Florida works. One of the most misunderstood examples involves sleeping in your car. Florida doesn't have a single statewide law that bans sleeping in a vehicle, which leads many people to assume it's completely legal. But cities and counties across the state are allowed to create their own ordinances, and many of them do. In some places, sleeping in your car overnight can be considered loitering, camping without a permit, or creating a public nuisance. This is especially common near beaches, downtown districts, and tourist areas. In 2026, whether you can legally sleep in your car may depend on the exact parking lot, the time of night, and whether local authorities decide to enforce the rule. Two people doing the exact same thing in two different Florida cities can have very different outcomes. Another Florida law that surprises people involves feeding wildlife. It sounds harmless, even kind, but Florida takes wildlife interaction extremely seriously. Feeding wild animals can actually be illegal if it causes the animals to rely on humans or creates a safety risk. This doesn't just apply to alligators, which most people already know. It can also apply to raccoons, deer, birds, and even ducks in certain public areas. In parks and near waterways, feeding animals can lead to fines if it violates conservation rules. Florida has seen too many incidents where animals lose their natural fear of humans, leading to dangerous encounters. Because of that, these laws are still actively enforced in 2026, especially in areas with heavy foot traffic or tourism. Driving laws in Florida also contain some lesser-known rules that catch people off guard. While everyone worries about speeding, Florida law also allows officers to stop drivers who are moving too slowly and disrupting the normal flow of traffic. This is especially true on highways and in the left lane. If you're driving well below the speed of surrounding vehicles and causing congestion, you can legally be pulled over. Many drivers assume that staying under the speed limit means they're safe. But in Florida, impeding traffic can be just as much of a problem. In 2026, this law is still used, particularly in busy metro areas and during peak travel times. Alcohol laws in Florida also aren't as loose as people expect. While Florida has a strong nightlife reputation, alcohol sales are controlled at the local level. That means the rules change from county to county and even city to city. In many areas, alcohol sales are prohibited during certain overnight hours, often between late night and early morning. Tourists are frequently surprised when a store refuses to sell alcohol, even in places known for partying. These restrictions still exist in 2026, and businesses that violate them can face serious penalties. The confusion comes from the fact that neighboring cities can have completely different rules, making it hard for visitors to know what's allowed. Noise laws are another area where Florida appears relaxed but isn't. Many cities enforce strict noise ordinances that apply to homes, cars, boats, and even beach areas. Playing music loud enough to be heard from a set distance can result in a citation, even during the day in some locations. In cars, loud music can be used as a legal reason for a traffic stop. In residential neighborhoods, repeated noise complaints can escalate into fines. These laws exist to balance tourism with quality of life for residents, and in 2026, they remain one of the most commonly enforced local rules. Florida also has strict laws when it comes to leaving children unattended in vehicles. Some parents assume that stepping away for a minute or leaving the engine running makes it safe. Under Florida law, leaving a young child unattended in a car can be illegal if it creates a risk to the child's safety. In a state known for extreme heat, this law is taken very seriously. Even short absences can lead to intervention if authorities believe the situation was dangerous. Penalties can increase quickly depending on the circumstances, and enforcement has not relaxed going into 2026. Beach rules are another area where Florida surprises people. Beaches may feel like open public spaces, but they're governed by layers of regulations. Depending on the beach, it can be illegal to dig deep holes, bring glass containers, set up certain tents, or use amplified sound. Some beaches restrict how close structures can be to the water, while others regulate activities to protect sea turtles and other wildlife. Tourists often break these rules without realizing it, assuming that beaches operate the same everywhere. In reality, each coastal community sets its own standards, and fines are still issued in 2026. Collecting items from the beach also isn't as simple as it seems. Many people pick up shells or other natural objects as souvenirs, not realizing that some items are protected. Collecting live shells, coral, or certain materials can be illegal, especially in conservation areas. Removing these items can harm ecosystems and disrupt coastal balance. Florida continues to enforce environmental protection laws aggressively, and violations can lead to fines or confiscation. In 2026, these rules are still a major focus for wildlife and environmental officers. Weapons laws in Florida are often misunderstood due to recent changes over the years. While Florida has expanded certain carry rights, restrictions still exist depending on location. Government buildings, schools, courthouses, and special event zones often prohibit specific weapons, including certain knives. Many people assume that because Florida is permissive overall, there are no limits. That assumption can lead to legal trouble. Context matters, and in 2026, these location-based restrictions are still very much in place. Golf carts are another uniquely Florida issue. They're everywhere, especially in retirement communities and coastal towns. But golf carts are regulated vehicles under Florida law. Where they can be driven, who can operate them, and whether they can be used at night all depend on local rules. Using a golf cart outside designated areas or without proper equipment can result in citations. Some violations are treated similarly to traffic offenses. In 2026, enforcement remains common in communities where golf carts are part of daily life. Another lesser-known Florida rule involves fishing without proper licensing. While Florida offers free fishing days and exemptions in certain cases, many people fish casually without realizing they still need a license. This applies to both freshwater and saltwater fishing. Enforcement officers regularly check licenses, especially in popular fishing spots. Fines can be issued even if the violation was unintentional. These rules remain unchanged going into 2026. Even photography can be regulated in ways people don't expect. Certain government buildings and infrastructure areas restrict photography for security reasons. While casual photos are usually fine, professional equipment or prolonged filming can attract attention. In tourist areas, private property rules can also limit where you're allowed to record. Florida doesn't ban photography broadly, but context and location matter more than people realize. One of the biggest themes with Florida law is how much authority local governments have. Two cities just a few miles apart can operate under completely different rules. Something legal in one town can result in a fine in the next. That's why so many of these laws feel hidden. They're not always posted clearly, and enforcement often depends on local priorities. In 2026, this patchwork system remains one of the defining features of Florida law. Florida's image as a carefree state makes these rules even more surprising. People expect fewer restrictions, not more. But Florida's combination of tourism, environmental sensitivity, and rapid growth has led to a complex legal landscape. Many laws exist to balance